Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'ashim Ba'rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us what we now know, including the bishops on down, and Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Ba'rakatham to the 144,000, and including the 1/3 that do follow. And it's your brother Laban coming at you with another lesson. And this is going to be quite short because, I just wanted to get the other half right that I mentioned in regards to Revelations 20 and verse 1. And let's begin. Revelations 20, actually from verse 1 to verse 3. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent. So who is the he that laid hold on the dragon? Now, I forgot to mention this. It was the ones of our people, a particular individual of the ones of our people, and it wasn't Septimus Severus. It was one of the Jakes that came into being and pretty much spawned the rulership, have you will, of Jake running the ancient Roman Empire, calling it even the Holy Roman Empire. All right. So that's what happened when ancient Rome was having its issues, especially in the western part of Rome. The eastern part of Rome became more progressive and successful. Okay. That old serpent, who is the old serpent? The old serpent is referring to these devils, these Edomites that are ruling this system, as I've mentioned in my last video, which I don't have to go too in depth in that, which is the devil and Satan and about him 1,000 years. So from the 1,000-year period, we're talking from the period when you had the Council of Nicaea, which was commissioned by Constantine the Noble, where all of those church founding fathers came and redefined what was happening 2,000 years ago concerning the saints, the disciples, and Yahweh Shai and the Apostle Paul, and put a spin on it. And this is where you get Christianity from today, which came out of these men. All right. So right around that time period, that's when Esau became, less of a man, so to speak. He was a slave unto us at that time, and cast him into the bottomless pit, which is in the interiors of Europe, because that's where all of this happened at, and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. So from the time, and bound him 1,000 years, because from the time of the 4th century CE and on towards the 1400s, this is when this devil came back into power. If you can quite recall the period of time when you had, which was called the Renaissance period, but just to back it up prior, you had, which was called the bubonic plague, which was also known as the Black Death, which I believe that Esau was responsible for that, because that was the time period when Esau was gunning for that position of power, which it was preordained by the Heavenly Father anyway for that to be had, which we're talking about the 1300s and onwards. So from that time, this is when Esau started to regain power after he was enslaved by those which were our people, and people like that. So now let's go forward and read verse 3. And he cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. So after their 1,000 years of enslavement was fulfilled, they came back. And after that, he must be loose a little season. So that little season is referring to the time period which they were freed, and from the time period which they're about to lose their kingdom again. Okay, and how do we know that that's the case? Because the signs are very well speaking. We see what's going on down here in the UK and other parts around the world. Venezuela, Bangladesh. You have the Bangladeshis that are warring with those Indians over there. And there's a lot of problems, as well as Yahweh Shai said. He said, look, that nation shall rise against nation. And in the book of Luke 21, verse 9, that even states that you're going to have what? Commotions. All right. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're hearing about, or we're not hearing, we're seeing earthquakes in diverse places. These are the things that we're speaking about. Now, we just did the live, me and the brother Yoram, he was going live. And he was reading into Second Esdras, the 9th chapter. And I really wanted them to, speak on the economic side of things first, because he's proficient on that side of things. But he went into the NHS, which, the spirit kind of, got into him, man, and he was going through all of that, and he broke it down beautifully, and it's very true, because what he was saying is that the people that want the immigrants out, or the other nations out that don't belong in the UK, according to these racists, let's just say if they all went, the system would go belly up. You know why? Because we're the ones that's actually in charge of the most important parts of this system. All right, you have a bunch of nurses, doctors that are Elam origin, and those that are our people that are actually are involved in the NHS. All right, and a lot of these working class devils, they don't have these kind of jobs. Okay, so let's just say Jake was out and went right back to where he came from, and as well as Elam and all of the rest of these other nations. Again, England wouldn't be what it wouldn't be. Okay, and that's the reason why I think Winston Churchill, after the Second World War, he had it so that you had the Windrush era, and as well as you had them Elamites that had to come over here to rebuild back England, because the British people weren't really doing the work they were supposed to do. And so they brought other nations here that were coming from more poorer countries. So if you're coming from a poorer country, especially back in the 1940s and the 50s onwards, you would have thought, well, wait a minute. Okay, cool. So they're saying that I could actually go to the UK. So, what's going to be what was had in the mind of the people at the time? Well, that means big things could be had. I could live a way better standard of life. Let me say it differently. I can have a way better standard of living in the UK. So they all jumped out of their country, came down here, and got the work, and they was doing it diligently because they remember being poor. Okay, so that's the same spirit that these nations have today. They're more hard workers. So if you have a bunch of hardworking people, you have a healthier economy. But when you have a bunch of people that don't want to work hard because they're lazy, because they're what's the word I'm looking for? They've become I don't want to use the word spoiled, but they've become entitled. There you go. The word entitled. When you're entitled, you don't feel the need to work hard. You don't feel the need to work as hard as a slave does. So the British people have become entitled, and this is the reason why they needed this. And this is another reason why they needed the other nations to come around here, because these devils, they ain't really doing the work. Okay, so that's just the thing. So just imagine if all of these nations went their way, including our people from the islands. Again, this system wouldn't be what you see it is right now. Okay, but I don't want to go too in depth into that. That's another topic for another moment in time. Let's read this now. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. So it's the Lord that's allowing this man to deceive and to do what he's doing, because it's his time, as it is written, time and chance happen him to all. So this is his time to rule for a particular point in time, which is to be that little season, and we're seeing the end part of the we're seeing the signs and the wonders of him being loosed, the end of the loose of the little season of him. Okay, again, Yahushua gave us clues to look out for, even in the book of Esdras, 2nd Esdras 9, Matthew's, I think, what we talking, 23, right? And he told the disciples, he said, look, you're gonna have wars and rumors of wars, nations rising up against nations, and just to include, I forgot to mention, the disciples inquired to Yahushua, when is it going to be the time of your return? So then he elaborated on these things that I've explained. Hearing wars and rumors of wars, commotions and stuff like that. So we're in that time where Yahushua is showing that he's about to make his second return. So that's all I wanted to bring out. Now let me finish this. Who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy the brightness of his coming. So what is that being? How is this being done? By the words of the prophets. So when we go out and we teach the word of the Lord, the way that we do, we're consuming this devil with the spirit of his mouth, with the words of truth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So this is when he's going to make his physical return, because Yahushua is with us in spirit, but he's physically going to return to destroy this devil. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Right? So the reason why this devil is ruling as well as he is, because the Lord is allowing him to do just that, ruling on the left-hand side of his power, which the left-hand power, which is Shaitan, is in the control, in the hands of the Lord. All you got to do is read the book of Job, the 2nd chapter. Job 1:1, Job 2:1 tells you that when the Most High had all of his sons surrounding him, in other words, the angelic forces, guess who came in the midst? Satan came in the midst. All right, so the Lord is in control of all angelic forces, good or bad. Hence is why he's known in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter, the father of spirits. So that's all I'm going to say right here. We're pretty much at the end of Esau's little season. And I just wanted to just bring this out because I wanted to correct myself on a couple of things. So with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bahashem Maharakah Kwadash, which is the Holy Spirit, and Yahweh Bashmi Shai Brakatham, to the elect, whom is 144,000, and as well as the 1/3 that do sincerely follow as well. Shalom.